It's time to get real, reality TV aficionados. Welcome to the Giorgio Says podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Giorgio Takanakis, and I'm here serving you the juiciest updates on all your favorite reality shows weekly, as well as the hottest pop culture trends, and even exclusive interviews that will leave you wanting more. This podcast will keep you on the edge of your seat. We definitely need to talk about this. The Giorgio Says podcast starts now.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Giorgio Says the podcast. It's Wednesday, the day after the final part for the Salt Lake City reunion. And you know, if you watched my TikTok recap, you already know what I think, but I'm going to go into more depth because there is a bit of a double standard here. But before we get into the recap for part 3 of Salt Lake City's reunion, we're going to get into some quick tea because some things have come out prior to the reunion airing and we need to discuss it. So with that, let's get into some quick tea. All right, so quick tea. Quick tea obviously is regarding Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because yesterday, when we were about to watch the final part, there was some reports that came out a couple hours earlier via People initially, where it had said that Monica was not going to be coming back to Salt Lake City for season 5. That may or may not shock you. I know I was kind of 50-50. I was like, yes, I could see them bringing her back because, I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. She definitely made the season very exciting and dramatic. However, I also saw the potential of her not coming back because, to Lisa Barlow's point, she blew her load in the first season or played all of her cards. Lisa Barlow didn't say she blew her load. I said that. But essentially she played all her cards all at once. And I think also the fact that if you watch the reunion, she did say that she did tell the casting that she was a part of this page. Now, Andy says that wouldn't have happened and that she wouldn't have been cast if she had said that. I don't believe that. I don't think any of you believe that. I think we know that Monica tells half truths, so maybe, I'm not sure. I really, guys, I don't believe that production had no clue about this page. There's too many things out there at this point that point in the direction of whether or not Monica said it, production would have found out if they did their due diligence, which they all should be doing. But then Variety says that Monica is on pause. Well, look, Andy also clarified that at BravoCon, the cast came up to him before they even filmed their reunion. Now, remember, Monica was sent home early from BravoCon, allegedly. I mean, we haven't really confirmed that, but we know she was sent home early. He explained that the cast went to him and said basically that all of the stuff that went down during this past season was mentally debilitating to all of them. Debilitating, not debilitating. Jesus. But that then caused a huge HR nightmare with the network, with production. People had to get involved. And this was also happening right when the reality reckoning was unfolding. So it was probably a big, big headache for everyone involved because nobody wants to deal with that, specifically when the press is talking about a reality reckoning and Bethany was spearheading all of this stuff around toxic work environments and people being pushed to do certain things that ultimately are not in their favor, etc. But I don't think that Andy would want that type of liability. And if Andy did not know that casting did know this, and then he finds out at this reunion, which it seems like it was very shocking news to him, I could see there being an issue with bringing Monica back. Now, do I think Monica's done with reality TV? No. I said this last night. I was watching it with my partner, and he brought up some double standards, which I did agree with. But I definitely see her on reality TV. I just don't think she's a good housewife. I don't think she's able to hang. I don't think that she's in a place in her life mentally, from what I saw on the reunion last night, that she's able to handle what she got herself into. I will give her props. She sat through and she really, she took a lot on. But to be fair, there was a lot of things that she could have done differently. And maybe in hindsight, she's looking back and probably agrees. But it's the deception part that I think has cost her her job. Like, this could have been life changing for her. Okay. We've seen many of housewives do way worse and they still are welcome back to the show. Okay. So I'm not dumb to that. I understand. I see the comments, I see the messages. I am not disagreeing with you guys. I think Monica has the potential. She could have been a great housewife. I just think that unfortunately, she's in a place in her life where she was essentially kind of grabbing for scraps. She really wanted to do what she could to get on this show. She got on the show, but she handled it, in my opinion, very wrong, which ended up shooting her in the foot. Now, that's not to say that Heather's off the hook here, and I'm going to get into that in the recap. But in this quick tea, I just want to point out that, you know, Bravo's never going to come out and say that someone's fired. They're always going to make it sound a little bit nicer. So this whole pause thing kind of leaves it to like, oh, well, maybe she can come back, and maybe she will. Maybe she will. Maybe in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Who knows? Okay. We also got some rumors that the casting has chosen allegedly 2 women. One's name is Mai and the other one's name is Brittany. Now they are in Salt Lake City. I haven't done any digging on them because it's not been confirmed that they are filming. However, when I went to their Instagram pages, they are being followed by some, accounts that are Bravo related. So it might be that they are. I do also know that they will start filming their season 5 February 5th. That's what's been reported. I think that's a great idea. There's no need to leave any time in between this reunion airing and when they start filming again, because now we don't have Monica. So to Heather's point, I'll watch what happens live. They can go be this great kumbaya friend group that, they're portraying to be. I don't buy it. I think this was probably one of the only times where I guess housewives can band together and isolate a cast member and get them off the show. I think it's part of that, but I really think this has a lot to do with the whole HR issue that was brought up. And, it's too much of a liability and it's bad press, specifically when you talk about reality reckoning and everything that was discussed with that whole initiative. So I don't know. You guys let me know. I did post on my Instagram and TikTok about the newbie cast members allegedly joining for season 5. Let me know your thoughts. If you guys want me to do some background research on these ladies, I'm happy to do that. I do that usually when there's a new housewife announced. So let's get into this recap. It was supersized. I appreciate that. However, even with the uncensored, I felt like there was still no answers to things. I already knew Jen Shaw was the one that gave Heather the black eye, as many of you probably already knew that as well. I mean, you can't be like dumb about it. I mean, it's who else would it have been, right? So, not super thrilled with how this reunion ended, in my opinion. I think it was letting some people off the hook, Heather, but we're going to get into that right now. So let's get right on into this recap for Salt Lake City's reunion, part 3. Golly Nutrition is an inventive, people-focused nutrition company committed to providing innovative products that make taking your daily supplements simple and delicious. Their products are formulated with quality ingredients you can pronounce and flavors your taste buds will absolutely enjoy. And at the core of it all, they lead with purpose. Golly for Good is an initiative committed to playing a profound role in supporting the health of our planet as well as our local communities. Learn more about their initiatives, such as B Corp certification, Vitamin Angels partnership, and Eden reforestation projects at their Golly for Good page. And if you use my special code, The Giorgio Says, at checkout, you will receive a special discount. Now let's get back into the episode. All right, let's get into part 3 of the Salt Lake City reunion. Now, I did watch it live last night, and I also watched the uncensored version. It was supersized live and on Peacock. Peacock obviously is uncensored, which chef's kiss. Don't ever take that away. But even with that, I left this whole thing having more questions, mainly around Heather. I felt like Heather was given a pass, essentially. And she also lied. She also lied on production. She alleged on her book tour that maybe production had something to do with it. Maybe the network had something to do with it. And I'm glad that Andy called her to the carpet, but why not the rage against this for her? Like, I don't understand. Heather, I'm starting to think that Heather knew this the entire time and was waiting to out Monica. Monica says she had let casting know right off the bat that she was a part of this page. So even with the cease and desist that went out, that Jen Shaw sent this page, are you really going to tell me that you didn't have any inkling that Monica was a part of it? Because that doesn't add up for me. Maybe to some of you it does. Maybe it got lost in translation and she didn't know for real. I don't buy it. I think this was to save her ass and play victim so that they could isolate Monica further and get her off the show. So we pick up where we left off last episode. Mary's finishing up her little segment. Nothing too grandiose there. I do think that, we will see Mary back next season. I'm not sure, though, if she will be full-time or not. I guess it'll depend on how things go when they all start filming. But it seems like she doesn't really like most of the cast, but she likes enough of them that I think it could work even as a friend of. She was comedic relief. I know you guys all don't subscribe to her banter and her commentary and the things that she says. I will say this, though. The comment that was brought up around Heather's corset from Gucci when Mary was on Watch What Happens Live was a BS answer that, whether she realizes it or not, saying that Gucci doesn't make that corset in a size 14 is absolutely body shaming. It was unnecessary. She could have just said it's not for her. I don't know. She could have said a plethora of other things, but I'm not thrilled about that comment. So it's not that I'm giving her a pass. It's just she's funny sometimes, and other times she's a bit too harsh. I don't understand why some of the ladies, though, are afraid of her. There's nothing to be afraid of. I think Meredith should absolutely give the ladies a little lesson on how to deal with Mary, because she seems to be doing it very well. And Angie, I said this last week, Angie's very good at handling Mary, and I think that comes from her background being Greek. We know how to deal with big personalities, and we have a lot of big personalities in our culture and drama, and so it doesn't take much to phase us, in that sense. So good on Angie for sticking it through. She really powered through this season, and yeah, she may have sat at the end, but man, oh man, does she deserve to be there. She really does. She is really kind of turned that narrative, because initially when she came on, people weren't feeling her, but as the season went, I mean, good on her. She did a fantastic job. I'm excited to see her continue on this show. But we got to get into the Bermuda of it all. We want to get into the Jen Shaw black eye of it all, because that's what we're all tuning in for. And shout out to Caitlin Marshall from Besties by Bravo for having a successful watch party last night in Denver. I'm super excited that was successful, because it's always great to bring people together that love these shows and actually see people's faces. So shout out to her. If you went, let me know how much fun it was. I definitely had FOMO. I don't live in the Denver area, but hopefully next time there's a way in which we can collaborate and do this, where I maybe go out there, she comes out here, who knows. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so in the thick of it. We want to get to the bottom of this Bermuda thing. We want to get to the bottom of the reality Von Teese of it all. Guys, it was this part of the reunion for me where I realized that Monica is not made for this. I think maybe in her head she thought it was something else, but the way in which she went about things just kind of just blew up in her face. And the reads were not giving. She was not fighting in a way that was like, it just didn't make her look any better, in my opinion. Okay. The burn book. Let's talk about this burn book. I am so tired of Housewives ripping off of Monique Samuels, because that's essentially what you're doing. You create a whole burn book, and then when they start going through the burn book, it makes her look more cringe. The whole thing was cringe. There was nothing about that that was serving anything. I would have been embarrassed. I don't get it. It didn't clarify anything. It didn't make her look any better. I do believe that she was not the only person managing that account, but she surely did play a big role in a lot of the content being posted. That I feel in my gut. Okay. The elements around how she got on the show, because again, her plotting to get on the show is not a problem. At this point in the game, anybody who gets on these shows has plotted to get on. Okay. We're not new here. No, like it's very rare that someone's just walking down the street and just happens to know a housewife and doesn't know what they're going to get themselves into. A lot of these women want to be on the show for relevancy, to help boost their business, to create a business, to blow up their marriage, whatever have you. So that part never was like, I that doesn't bother me. Because you got to be a little thirsty if you're going to be on these shows now. So like, whatever. The part that really stood out was when she said that she did tell casting, okay? She told casting about the fact that she was affiliated with this reality Von Teese troll account. So now a lot of people may not believe that. Andy seems to not believe it because he feels that wouldn't have worked and we would never have casted Monica if that were the case, if she came out and said she was a part of this page. But I don't buy it. I don't. I really don't. And here's why. Even if Heather and the rest of the cast did not know about this whole situation, which I feel like they may or may not have, I don't know. It seems that production would have known because they knew that Jen Shaw sent out cease and desist. It's on the internet. It's everywhere. You would have known. I do believe production knew. And I think what they were angling for was, let's bring on this Jen Shaw 2.0. Okay. She's fiery. She's feisty. She's going to go there. She's messy. And that's what this show needed at this point. Because if you remember, they were close to being cut last season. Jen Shaw went to jail. She lied the entire time. Heather looks crazy. She still wouldn't tell us last season how she got the black eye. She went on a whole book tour, still didn't answer any questions. And if I'm honest, I still don't understand what happened. How did you get the black eye? And not only the black eye, Heather, what happened to your arm? Did Jen Shaw beat you up? Because you had bruises and scratches on your arm. So what's going on? You're still protecting her. Meredith Marks was vindicated. Not that she needed to be, though, because look, I said this in recaps prior. It didn't make sense. Why would Meredith put herself in a situation where it would clearly look like she sent these out herself? Also, to everyone's point, Meredith didn't bring up any of this stuff on camera. In terms of Angie's lien and the tax situation that Monica brought this up, and Monica did this a couple times throughout the season. She brought up the whole rumor, the gay rumor around Angie's husband, and then pretended like, well, I'm not the only one that's saying it. Everyone's been saying it, but you brought it up on camera. Then you bring up the conversation with Meredith about how you guys were talking about how Angie was allegedly part of the Greek mafia, which, listen, if Angie's part of the Greek mafia, Angie, call me. Call me, sweetie, because I would love to join, help, support, whatever. I'm just joking. Not really. But I I never thought Meredith would be that sloppy. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel like she needed to be vindicated, but I'm glad she was because it just didn't add up. And I do think that even if Monica didn't send that DM, she sent the information to someone to then send it through another Instagram page to her and to Meredith. It just is too coincidental. It's just crazy, you guys. This whole thing is just warped in a way because I feel like why? Because here's the thing, we get to the point where now Heather is explaining, and we get to see some unseen footage of Jen Shaw coming into the room last season to, I guess, talk about this black eye that Heather had and how they were going to get around it and what they were going to say. And she says that Jen Shaw was like, we just continue to lie because unless they show us the footage, we don't need to admit to it. But the problem with that is along the way, instead of Heather just spilling the beans, because at this point, Jen Shaw was already in prison. So what would it have mattered if you did say it? What? You know? But she didn't. She alluded to things based on theories that were on the internet, is what she said. But you alluded to the fact that maybe production and the network had a hand in it somehow. So now you put people that had nothing, that literally had zero to do with your black eye, in harm's way of losing their job, ruining their reputations, and causing an HR nightmare. And I'm glad Andy, called Heather to the carpet about it a little bit. He could have gone in a little bit more. Maybe he went in on her full throttle after the reunion and gave a strong talking to her about that because that makes the network look bad. Again, reality reckoning. It doesn't make it look any better when things like that are being alluded to and making it seem like production, even if it was a joke, it's not funny. It's like people run with stuff like that. So why is Heather getting a pass for that? Because she lied too. She lied for a long time. So why is Heather getting a pass? Well, I think a big part of this, and to Bethany's point, it's it's kill or be killed. And I believe that if Monica wasn't a part of this page and that whole thing didn't come up, this would have backfired immensely on Heather and it could possibly have cost her job. Because this, you could tell, it pissed Andy off. He was not happy at all. Rightfully so, because it's like, look, listen, I'm sure he's had a strong talking to with the casting and the production people too. Like, listen, don't play this shit again. Don't pull it. Because we don't need all these liabilities. This could have been a huge liability. It resulted in people suing each other. Now, Monica's countersuit was dismissed for obvious reasons, but we still have Heather suing Monica. So, like, what? Like, there's too much. That's not what this is. This is supposed to. You're not supposed to be suing each other when you're on these shows. That's part of the thing. But unfortunately, this has gone so far that yes, this is what's happening, right? But why is Heather getting a pass? Because last time we're watching it, it's like, wow, she's crying. Well, crying. I didn't see any real tears come out of her eyes, but she was playing victim, in my opinion. She was given a sympathy card by the rest of the cast. And I think it really is because Heather's been there since the beginning. And so she has a rapport with these ladies. She has a rapport with production. Monica just came in 5 minutes ago, essentially, and she blew the whole thing up. And so, yeah, if anyone's going to be like slaughtered here for doing the kill or be killed, Monica had to be killed because her stuff was the heaviest stuff. That was the most like deceptive thing out of the whole season. But I understand what you guys are saying. I said the same thing in my recap too. I echo your statements out there about the double standard is wild. Absolutely wild. I'm also glad that Lisa Barlow called Andy Production, the network, to the carpet because she said, you guys brought her on to take us down. And of course, Andy's like, no, we did not. Like that, we didn't know. Maybe Andy didn't know. But I'm not really sure about that either. However, I do believe production knew because listen, production does all these background checks. They talk about things, they look up things. They obviously want to get a lot of stuff on people as they're casting them to get to know them, understand what their story is. How would you have missed that? Then we see a laundry list of all these videos. I'm sorry, but like if you are driving by someone's house, Monica, and you're videoing, looking for them to be doing something wrong so that you can give evidence to the FBI, that is a bit stalkerish. You're not an FBI agent. Like, I don't, it, all these things do not make her look good. I wouldn't trust Monica if I was on the show. I wouldn't feel comfortable filming with her. I would have a hard time believing her. So, dare I say, any other reality shows like maybe House of Villains or We TV, Family Boot Camp? Now, you know who she would be great for that show. Is that show still on, Family Boot Camp on We? Is We TV still a thing? Anyways, if it's not, bring it back. Bring Monica and Linda on that show so they can work out their stuff. I will say this, Monica needs to get into some intensive therapy for her trauma and the issues that she has. I think she tried to work out her mental issues on this show and it backfired there as well. Because her and her mom's relationship is just a disaster and it should not have played out on TV that way. And then on top of it, we're seeing these leaked videos that Monica sent to her friends about arguing with her own mom. Like it's just, it reminds me of those TikTok videos where the people have their phone out while they're fighting with their parent or someone and the other person doesn't know they're being filmed. And then all of a sudden that video is out on TikTok and it goes mega viral and everyone's talking, making comments about it. Like that to me is foul. I don't think that that's a good look. Don't film people without their knowledge in the middle of a conflict or confrontation and then post it for views and likes. She's just one of these people that has been striving to get some sort of notoriety and relevancy. And she worked hard to get on the show and then worked really hard to no longer be on it. Because I feel like, and they said this, Lisa said it actually, if she had come on, and then I felt this way too, why not come on? If you told casting already that you are part of this page, why not just start off with the ladies on a clean slate and say, hey, guys, I need to get something off my chest. I want to be super upfront with you guys because I don't feel right being a part of this group and letting you guys not know what the real tea is. Okay. Tell them you are part of this page. Tell them that give them the story on your own. What ended up happening is you get to the very tail end of the season, then it's outed that you are a part of this page, and now you're trying to backtrack and then explain yourself. No one wants to hear it at that point. Now, would there have been conflict if she had come out the gate and said it? Maybe. But I think they would have worked through it because I think she would have been able to at least have some grace in the sense that she was at least honest and upfront about it and that the ladies wouldn't have to find out the way that they did. This was not, in my opinion, a great way to end the reunion. I don't feel like anything got really resolved. I don't feel like anyone explained really anything. Like again with the black eye, how did you get the black eye? Did she punch you? How did you get the bruises on your arm, Heather? We're not going to talk about that. Conveniently now Heather doesn't remember how it happened, but she just immediately knew it had to have been Jen, and Jen obviously knew she did it. Were you guys that shit-faced you couldn't remember anything? And also, how do you not remember being punched or hit or an altercation? You do. Heather is scared. Now, I'm not sure if there's people out here repping for Jen, because clearly Monica said that she gets phone calls, threatening phone calls a lot. There was a moment where it looked like Monica and Heather were able to connect over this whole Jen Shaw abuse scenario, but it wasn't enough. And I think Heather really knows that, like, I don't know, you guys. It rubbed me wrong. I was very neutral with Heather, but last night I really feel like she's messy in a different way, in a different way. Because I don't believe that she just found that information out when we saw her find out about it. So, you know what? Honestly, with season 5 starting to film allegedly on February 5th, we'll see how it goes, you know? And let's also be very crystal clear here. The ratings for Salt Lake City were a little bit better throughout the season than they were last season. It wasn't until the tail end that they spiked up, you know, pretty good actually. Like I think the last couple episodes were like in the 700,000s for live viewership. But that doesn't mean that like we're not going to give all the flowers to Monica for saving season 4. There was a lot of other things going on, but yes, Monica played a big role in that because it was so deceptive, it was so dramatic, it was so crazy. We've never seen anything like this before. A troll account then becomes a housewife and then gets exposed for being a part of the troll account. Like that's insane. You couldn't even make that up. But here we are, right? But it's interesting because hours before we even get to see this reunion, we find out via people that Monica's reportedly not coming back for, season 5. Okay. Then Variety says, no, 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 no. She's just on a pause. But then Andy tells us, no, not really. I mean, it was kind of a huge liability. So, but you know how it goes. Bravo's not going to really say, oh, yeah, we fired her. It's just more of like, we parted ways, like, or she's on pause. And it's not to say that they wouldn't consider her in a few seasons. I don't know. That's dependent on Monica. If Monica does the work on herself and becomes a more tactful human being when it comes to being argumentative or confrontation, then yeah, sure. Let's get through season 5 though. Let's see how these women do without a major deceptive little scandal in the background. Let's just see how it goes. Because on Watch What Happens Live, Heather was very like, I'm so grateful for these ladies. They are my real friends. We are a real friendship group, and I love them so much, and I can't wait to film with them. Great. Great. I really do hope, though, that production really kind of not comes at, like, I hope that they hold Heather accountable going into this new season. I really do. Because I didn't like the way it was just brushed off. She made some serious allegations that could have cost people their jobs. Yeah, Monica was talking smack and being a troll account, but she wasn't trying to get anyone fired. I give credit where credit's due, you guys. I can see both things can be true. Monica shouldn't be on the show because she's not really, I personally don't believe she's in a headspace to handle all of this. I don't. I think there's a lot of healing that needs to happen before you go back out there. But in the meantime, I think there's going to be producers calling her nonetheless. Hello, LA Times wrote up something about this whole thing. So, like, Monica really got Salt Lake City put on the map. People have been talking about Salt Lake City more than they've ever talked about it. My recaps this season are immensely more engaged than they were previous seasons. So that says something in and of itself. What else happened? That was pretty much it. Angie clarified, which I'd already clarified for you guys, about the tax lien. She explained that to me. I reached out to her because, as I do, I will reach out to the source and give them the opportunity to explain before I go digging or try to figure it out on my own. And she graciously, we had a very long conversation about it, and she explained it. It made sense to me. And I'm glad she was able to actually articulate that last night because I think that was really weighing on her as well. You guys, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think of? What do you make of all this? Am I crazy? Do I think that like Heather was given a pass? Was her lie any different than Monica's lie? I don't know. A lie is a lie is a lie, right? the magnitude of Heather's lie, though, could really have cost people their jobs, which Lisa Barlow said she was angry with Heather last season for that, because essentially what she's saying is you could have cost us all our jobs and production. Like, the whole show would have been scrapped because of the whole investigation around this black eye. So I don't know. I would absolutely love, though, if we could go into next season and not even bring up Jen Shah's name. I almost feel like they owe Jen Shah a little check because she was literally in every part of the season, beginning, middle, and reunion. She wasn't even there for it, and her name was brought up as if she was. So, in my opinion, Bravo should probably send her a little check or send the put it towards her restitution. I don't know. Can we leave her out of it, please? I think we closed the book on that last night, I hope, with this black eye situation. Can we move on? I am interested to see if these two new ladies get cast for the show, if they haven't already. Like I said earlier in my quick tea segment, if you guys are interested in me doing some research on them, trying to figure out what they're all about, I'm happy to do that. But I guess we'll see where it goes from here for Salt Lake City. I don't think it's lost on me that like Heather is going to get away scot-free. I think this will get brought up next season. She will have to answer to a lot more. I don't think the cast is going to be giving her a pass. And if they do, that's foul. Excuse me. Don't let her off easy. You guys got your way. You isolated this girl Monica out, okay? And you know Heather was like, that's over and done with. I don't think so. Because now the aftermath of your lies, like, stop going to this whole, like, the trolling is the hardest part of this job. No, it's not. And if it is, then you don't need to be here. That's my opinion. Troll accounts are going to be there no matter what. They've been around before your franchise even started. So were you not aware that that was a possibility? Now, I'm not saying it doesn't impact you. Of course, there's troll accounts that come after me all the time. And some days it does weigh on me. But is it the hardest part of my job here? No. I love what I do. I love communicating everything about Bravo and Housewives to you guys. You know that. But at the end of the day, you can't say that that's the hardest part of the job, because the hardest part of the job is exposing your real life on camera for people to judge. And that takes a lot of guts to be on a show like that, but you have to want to be on the show. You clearly knew what you were getting yourself into. So let's not put it all under the like troll account abuse like category and just leave it there. Like, to me, I felt like there should have been more accountability from Heather's part. They should have equally gone after Heather as much as they went after Monica. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. All right, guys. That's all I've got for this recap. Like I said, it was supersized, but it didn't feel supersized. Didn't feel like it gave me any more information. They could have just dumbed it down to an hour and we would have gotten the same takeaway. And yeah, I'm still wanting to know exactly how Heather got abused, because that was never made clear. Conveniently, the audio from the camera footage was sort of inaudible, and Heather was able to tell us what they were saying in that moment conveniently. But yeah, I have no words. This has been one of those seasons that we will never forget. It will go down in the history books of Bravo for sure. And good luck to Monica. I believe she will have a longevity in the reality TV realm. And maybe that will help her come back to Housewives at some point. Who knows? But we have a new episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tonight. The ladies are in Spain. And then we have a new episode of Real Housewives of Miami. So do check back tomorrow for an all new episode of Giorgio Says the Podcast, where I'll recap Beverly Hills. And don't forget, Friday, I will be recapping Real Housewives of Miami for you guys as well. Um, it's a little warmer where I'm at, so it's not as cold. I'm feeling a lot better. As I mentioned, I was not feeling well over the weekend. Thank you all for the nice messages, giving me all the like, take this, take that, drink this. I love you guys. And until the next episode, everyone, I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.